Hey everyone, Ryan here. So let's start today's story. I found out in a doctor's office over something as dumb as a nosebleed. My son Ethan is 13. A couple weeks ago, he started getting random nosebleeds. Not bad, but often enough that my wife got worried and booked an appointment. I went with them. It was a Saturday. I wasn't doing anything anyway. The doctor asked the usual questions: how long it's been happening, any injuries, that kind of stuff. Then he asked about family history. Any blood disorders? Clotting issues? We both said no. Then he said, "Do you know Ethan's blood type?" We didn't, so they did a quick test. Took maybe 10 minutes. The doctor came back, looked at the chart, then looked at us. "He's AB," he said. I just nodded. Didn't mean much to me. Then he asked, "What about you two?" "I'm O," I said. "My wife's O too," I added. He didn't say anything right away. He just looked at us for a second, like he was double-checking in his head. Then he said, "That's unusual." I asked what he meant. He pulled his chair a little closer and said, "Two parents with type O blood can only have a child with type O. They don't have A or B genes to pass on, so AB wouldn't happen." I thought he was joking. I even smiled a little. "So what, the test is wrong?" He shook his head. "It's unlikely. We can repeat it if you want, but these are usually accurate." My wife didn't say anything. She was just staring at the floor. I said, "Okay, so what are you saying?" He hesitated. "I'm not making any assumptions. I'm just telling you what the biology says." That was it. Appointment over. The drive home was quiet. My wife talked a bit at first, something about dinner, but it died out fast. Ethan had his headphones on and didn't notice anything. I kept thinking about what the doctor said. It didn't make sense. When we got home, I went straight to my phone and looked it up. Same answer everywhere. 2O parents cannot have an AB child. No exceptions. I told myself something had to be wrong. Maybe the test was off. Maybe I remembered my blood type wrong. The next day, I bought a blood type kit from a pharmacy. Didn't tell anyone. I did it in the bathroom. Still O. That's when it started to feel real. I sat in the living room that night watching Ethan play video games. Same kid as always, laughing, yelling at his friends. Nothing about him looked different, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. A couple days later, I ordered a DNA test. I didn't tell my wife. When it arrived, I told Ethan it was for a school thing. He didn't care, just spit in the tube and handed it back. "Are you cloning me?" he asked. "Something like that," I said. He laughed and went back to his game. The results took about 2 weeks. I checked my email every day. When it finally came, I was sitting in my truck outside work. I opened it. At the top, it said 0%. I didn't understand it at first. Then I read the line under it. No biological relationship detected. I read it again just to be sure. Same thing. I just sat there for a while, staring at the screen. I didn't call anyone. I didn't go inside. I just sat there thinking one thing. If he's not mine, then whose is he? I didn't tell my wife right away. I went home that day like nothing happened. Ate dinner, asked Ethan about school, watched some TV, normal stuff. Inside, I felt off. Not angry yet, just unsettled. That night, after Ethan went to bed, I said, "We need to talk." She looked at me, already tense. "About what?" I showed her my phone, the DNA results. She didn't take it at first, just stared at the screen from a distance. "What is this?" she asked. "You know what it is." She finally grabbed the phone, read it, then sat down. "No," she said, "that's wrong." "It's not wrong." "It has to be," she said. "Those things aren't always accurate." "It says 0%, I said. "Not low, 0. She didn't answer. I asked her straight, "Did you cheat on me?" She looked up fast. "No." Too fast. I noticed it right away. "Then explain it," I said. "I can't," she said. "I don't know. Maybe the test." "Stop," I said. "Just stop. Don't blame the test." She started crying. Quiet at first. "I didn't cheat on you," she said again. I just stood there, looking at her, trying to decide if I believed her. I wanted to. That's the problem. The next few days were tense. We talked, but not really. Same house, same routine, but everything felt fake. I kept watching her. Little things. How she reacted when I asked questions, how she avoided eye contact sometimes. It didn't add up, but I still didn't have anything solid. Then I started thinking about timelines. Ethan is 13. I went back in my head to that year, where we were, what was going on. That's when I remembered something. We used to spend a lot of time with one couple back then, my best friend Mark and his wife Lisa. We'd known each other for years, vacations together, dinners, birthdays. Our kids grew up around each other. Back then, we were together almost every weekend. I didn't think anything of it at first. Why would I? Mark was like a brother to me. But once the idea got in my head, I couldn't shake it. I started replaying old memories, small things, stuff I never paid attention to before. Late nights, drinks, times when people split off into different rooms. Nothing obvious, nothing clear, just enough to make me uncomfortable. One night, I asked my wife, "Do you remember when Ethan was conceived?" She looked confused. "What kind of question is that?" "Just answer it." She thought for a second. "Around summer. Why?" Summer. That same summer we were always at Mark's place. Barbecues, pool days, drinking way too much. I nodded like it meant nothing, but in my head, something started forming. I didn't want to believe it, not yet, but it was there. Once that idea came up, I couldn't ignore it. Mark. It didn't fully make sense, but he was the only person that fit into that time in our lives. I kept telling myself I was reaching. I had no proof, just a bad feeling. But I started watching more closely. We still saw Mark and Lisa pretty often, same as always. Dinners, weekends, birthdays. Next time we met, I paid attention. Nothing obvious. My wife acted normal, Mark acted normal. Too normal, maybe. At one point, Mark put his arm around me and said, "We need to hang out more, man." I nodded. "Yeah." I looked at him while he was talking. I've known him almost 30 years. If something like that happened, how did I miss it? Later that night, I pulled out old photos, albums from that time. Summer parties, trips, random weekends. My wife saw me and asked, "Why are you looking at those?" "Just remembered some stuff," I said. She came over, flipped a few pages with me. I pointed at one picture. "You remember this?" She looked. "Yeah, Mark's place, summer." "Anything weird happened that night?" She frowned. "No, why?" I looked at her. "You sure?" She got annoyed. "What is this about?" I closed the album. "Nothing." But it wasn't nothing. After she went to bed, I kept looking. Then I noticed something. One photo, group picture, everyone smiling. But in the background, slightly off to the side, it was just them, my wife and Mark. They weren't touching, but they were standing close. Closer than you would expect. I stared at it for a long time, trying to remember that moment. I couldn't. The next day, I called Mark. "Hey, you free tonight?" I asked. "Yeah, what's up?" "Come by, have a drink." "All right," he said. "I'll bring beer." Same voice, same as always. That night, we sat in my garage. Beers, music, same setup we've had for years. We talked about normal stuff at first. Then I asked, "You ever do something you regret?" He laughed. "Of course. I mean something serious." He looked at me. "Yeah, why?" I shrugged. "Just thinking." He took a sip and said, "You good?" I looked at him, really looked, and for the first time I had this feeling. He might already know what I'm about to ask. I didn't ask him that night. I wanted to. It was right there, but something stopped me. If I was wrong, I'd destroy everything for nothing. If I was right, I wasn't ready to hear it yet, so I let it go. We finished the beers, talked about random stuff, and he left like always. Before he walked out, he said, "Don't disappear again. We should do this more." I said, "Yeah, I didn't mean it." A couple days passed. I kept thinking about that photo, about the timing, about the doctor. None of it went away. So I decided to ask someone else, Lisa. I didn't plan it. I just called her. "Hey, you home?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, I was nearby. Thought I'd stop by." That was a lie. When I got there, she was alone. Mark was at work. She made coffee. We sat in the kitchen. Normal at first. Then I said, "Can I ask you something weird?" She smiled a little. "That sounds serious." I didn't smile back. "Do you remember that summer, about 13 years ago, when we were always hanging out?" She nodded. "Yeah, of course." I looked at her. "Did anything ever happen between Mark and my wife?" Her smile disappeared. "What?" she said. "I need you to be honest." She leaned back in her chair. "Why are you asking me this?" "Because something doesn't add up," I said. She stared at me for a few seconds. Then she said, "No, not that I know of." "Not that I know of." That part stuck. "You're sure?" I asked. She crossed her arms. "Yes, I would know." I nodded, but I didn't believe it. As I was leaving, she said, "Did something happen?" I stopped at the door. I almost told her everything, the test, the blood type, all of it, but I didn't. "Just overthinking," I said. She didn't look convinced. "Talk to your wife," she said. "I will," I said. I didn't plan to. That night, I went straight to my wife. No build-up. "No more lying," I said. "I know something happened." She froze. "What are you talking about?" 13 years ago, that summer, with Mark. Her face changed. Not confusion, not anger. Fear. That was enough. I stepped closer. "Tell me the truth." She shook her head. "Nothing happened." "Stop," I said. "Just stop." She started crying. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said. That was it. That one sentence. Everything dropped into place. I felt like I couldn't breathe. "What do you mean?" I asked. She covered her face. "It was a mistake." "With him?" I said. She didn't answer. "Say it," I said. She whispered, "Yes." I just stood there. "Was it once?" I asked. She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. "How many times?" I asked. "A few," she said quietly. I laughed, not because it was funny. "Of course," I said. Then I asked the only question that mattered. "Does he know?" She didn't answer right away. That was already a bad sign. I said it again. "Does he know?" She wiped her face, still crying. "No." I just looked at her. "You expect me to believe that?" "I never told him," she said. "We agreed it was a mistake. It stopped." "We?" I repeated. She closed her eyes. "Yes." That word hit harder than anything else. Not just her, not just him, both of them. I grabbed my keys. "Where are you going?" she asked. "You know exactly where." "Don't do this," she said, following me to the door. "Please, it will make everything worse." "It's already worse," I said. She tried to grab my arm. "Think about Ethan." I stopped for a second. That name still hit me like normal, because to me, he is my son. That didn't change, but everything around it did. I pulled my arm away and left. I drove straight to Mark's house. Lisa's car was there. His was too. Good. I knocked. Hard. Lisa opened the door. She saw my face and immediately knew something was wrong. "Hey, what happened?" she asked. "Where is he?" I said. She hesitated, then stepped aside. "Living room." Mark was on the couch, watching TV. He looked up and smiled. "What's up?" I didn't sit. I didn't say hi. I just said, "We need to talk. Now." He looked confused, but stood up. "All right." Lisa stayed near the doorway, watching. I didn't care anymore. I looked straight at him and said, "Did you sleep with my wife?" Silence. He didn't answer. Didn't even pretend to be confused. He just stood there, staring at me. That was enough. I stepped closer. "Answer me." He ran his hand over his face and said, "Man." That word. That tone. Like I was the problem. Answer the question, I said. He looked at Lisa, then back at me. And then he nodded. Small, slow, but clear. Lisa said, "What?" She looked between us. "What is he talking about?" Mark didn't say anything. I said, "Ask your husband." She stepped toward him. "Mark, what is he saying?" He still didn't answer. I felt my hands shaking. 13 years ago, I said. It wasn't just once. Lisa turned to me. "Stop! What are you talking about?" I looked at Mark. "Tell her." He finally spoke. "It was a long time ago," he said. Lisa's face changed. "Are you serious?" I didn't wait. I said it. He's my son's biological father. That was the moment everything broke. No one spoke for a few seconds. Lisa just stared at him. "Tell me that's not true." Mark didn't answer. That was his answer. She stepped back like she didn't recognize him. "You slept with his wife?" He tried to say something. "It was a long time ago." "Don't," she said. "Don't say that like it makes it better." I stood there, watching it fall apart. Part of me wanted to leave. Part of me wanted to stay and make sure it all burned. Lisa looked at me. "How do you even know that?" "DNA test," I said. She covered her mouth. Then she looked at Mark again. "Did you know?" He shook his head. "No, I swear, I didn't know." I believed that part. Didn't make it better. I didn't yell. I didn't hit him. I just said, "We're done." He took a step toward me. "Listen, man." "No," I said. "Don't call me that." He stopped. "I trusted you," I said, "my whole life." He didn't have anything to say. Good. Lisa told me to stay. She said, "Don't go yet." I almost did, but I was tired. Tired of all of them. "I've said what I came to say," I told her. She nodded slowly, still in shock. I left. A week later, she filed for divorce. 16 years of marriage, gone. I didn't check on Mark. I don't care how he's doing. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't exist anymore. At home, things are quiet. My wife tries to talk sometimes, says she's sorry, says it was a mistake. I don't argue. I don't forgive her either. I just don't feel anything when she says it. I stayed. Not for her, for Ethan. He's still my son. Nothing changes that. He doesn't know any of this, and he never will. I'll take that to the grave. But something in me is different now. I go through the motions. Work, home, dinner, repeat. I talk when I need to. I smile when it's expected. But that's it. Whatever I had before, it's gone. And I don't think it's coming back. If you like this story, you'll find more like it on my channel.